So here we have Zod in his apostle form, and this thing is just a work of art. He's a beautiful beast. And there just aren't many PVC Berserk figures out there. They did make the pop-up parade ones recently, but most Berserk stuff tends to be statues by Prime 1 that cost thousands of dollars, and those are just out of reach for a lot of people due to the size and cost. So this Ichiban Kuji set was great news, but I knew they wouldn't be so simple to get. There was a lot of interest, a lot of demand for these, plus they didn't get released overseas, meaning you couldn't just order them from a site like Big Bad Toy Store. I was also reading posts on Twitter from people in Japan as these were becoming available. Some people were saying no stores in their area were carrying it, or that it was already sold out by the time they got there, so it seems like there wasn't a huge amount of stores carrying this Ichiban Kuji, and because of all of that, I knew people would be reselling them for higher prices than usual, and that people like me would be willing to pay those prices. I was hoping I'd be able to find Zod for maybe $150 to $200 before shipping, but once they started showing up on Mercari Japan, I was seeing Zod sell for around $290. There were even people trying to sell the box itself for like $250, hoping that people wouldn't notice the listing was only for the box. So if you're thinking of buying one of these like I did, then be really careful and read every word of those descriptions. Lots of times resale prices for Ichiban Kuji figures will go down after a few weeks or months, but not always, so I wasn't taking any chances with these ones. I bought them pretty early on and paid what I was willing to pay for them. And Ichiban Kuji sets do get re-released occasionally, so that is a possibility, but it's not something I would count on. And the figures themselves are just amazing. They were sculpted by Irakura Keiji, so it's no wonder they're great. Some of my favorite figures in my collection happen to be ones that are sculpted by him. And as I've said before, I just love how he sculpts capes and coats, or in this case, Zod's wings. They look amazing, they're so wrinkly looking and just full of detail and folds, just really great. And it does come with these two stands for the wings. There's a diagram on the box that shows where to put them, and I'm sure some people won't even use the stands, but I'm going to be using mine to make sure everything holds its position over time. And yeah, the box is pretty big. It's 40 centimeters wide, 25 centimeters deep, and 40.5 centimeters tall. Then here's what the packaging looks like. He has one layer of plastic here at the top. Then you can just pull him out after taking it off. And the plastic at the bottom is shaped to hold his feet and tail in place. And the stands are right down here in their own little bag. He also has some bubble wrap protecting the horn and hands. So yeah, Zod is just massive, and I love the pose. He just looks really powerful. Here he is by the Mastersize Extra All Might, which is just about the same height, but Zod has a lot more mass to him. He's huge in every direction. 36 centimeters tall, about 35 centimeters wide from hand to hand, and 30 centimeters from this claw to the back of his tail. And yeah, he's a soft vinyl figure from the Softfix line. I don't have any other figures from that line, and not all soft vinyl figures are going to feel exactly the same. This Oars is more rubbery feeling, almost like a bath toy. And Zod feels hard and hollow like an X-Plus Godzilla figure, which are also soft vinyl figures. They get soft and squishy if you heat them up with a blow dryer or whatever. And even though Zod is hollow, he still has a good weight to him. Most of it is in the wings and tail, which makes him back heavy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing though, I'm just describing what he feels like. Where he's heavy, where he's not, you know? And he has such a presence. I really love the fur, it just looks amazing, covering his whole body. On the back, behind the wings, just everywhere. You can see all his muscles bulging out too on the legs, the arms, the abs, and everywhere else around the torso. And the whole chest and shoulder area looks great leading up to the head there. It really just gives a great sense of his strength and power, his roaring head, the positioning of his arms and everything. You can even see these little muscles here on his arms. And from the side we can see his kind of fawn looking legs. They look great, and so do the hooves. Then the detail continues on to the bottom of them, and on the right one we can see the marking really clearly. Now let's look at the whole head area. So he has the broken horn, then the other one sticking way out there. It looks great, it's full of detail, and has some darker color filling in all of those cracks. Then the face itself is amazing. I love all the fur surrounding his chin and the rest of his head. And if you look straight down at him like this, you can see his nose wrinkling up. Looks really good. Then we can see him snarling right here, showing more of his gums on one side. Just a beautiful beast. The detailing in the mouth is great as well. The tongue, the back of the mouth, the roof of it, and of course all of his teeth. Then he has those red eyes with kind of a metallic finish to them. And I'm sure all the details on this thing would pop out even more with the top of the line paint job. I have actually seen some decent repaints of him on Twitter. But yeah, I think he's great just as he is. I bought him and a few other figures through a proxy service for somewhere around $600 including shipping. So Zod probably made up about $360 of that total. But yeah, out of all the Zod figures and statues that are out there, this one is my favorite. So for me, this was the one to get. Now let's look at him with some of my other figures. Here he is with Godzilla. And here he is with the Pop Maximum Big Mom. They're both huge and take up a similar amount of space. So yeah, this Zod is a work of art. He's one of the most eye-catching figures in my whole collection.